West Australian team. Number 7, Charlotte Tasmania. Number 8, Fiona Lee. 10, Fiona Wilson Palmer. 14, Stella Summers. 15, Grace Foster. 20, Malia Tharpe. 21, Jacob Clark. 23, Riley Bird. 24, Harriet Bird. Making number 2, captain. 30, Ruby Black. Introducing the other Tasmanian team, starting with number 3, Ruby Bird. Number 4, Bella Two. 4, Amber Granger. 8, Ruby Howard. 9, Abby Brown. 10, Ruby Drake. 11, Macy Crawford. 13, Charlie Kay. Captain, 15, Taylor Webb. And number 20, Neve Paul. Coached by Morris Sister Boy, 10 40. Good luck, ladies.
Welcome back to the Under-20 Footlocker National Championships, where we have our final quarter-final match for the night, or on the show court anyway. There's another one going out in the back between Victoria and ACT. But in here we've got Western Australia and Tasmania. Western Australia come in so far undefeated through their pool phases. Jada Clark obviously led the team pretty well, scoring 17 a game, but she's also had a lot of help from Grace Foster. And Ruby Vlahov's another one to watch for WA if she's healthy. I know she's had a bit of an ankle complaint, but looks like she's suited up and might be playing. For Tasmania, Ruby Grace had an outstanding tournament and had some able support from Macy Crawford and Charlie Kay. I'm here for this one again with Zoe Carr. So Zoe, give me some insights on what we should be expecting out of these two.
This is an exciting matchup because they're two completely different teams in the way that they play. For Tasmania to be successful, they have to defend the three-point line, particularly with Clark and Foster. Foster can shoot the ball, so she has to be run off the line. So if they can't defend the three-point line, it's going to be a difficult night for them. And then on the other side of that, WA have to make sure they take care of the penetration of Ruby Gray and Macy Crawford, who can get off as well. She does a great job of getting feet in the paint and finding shooters. And it's been well known for a long time, back to the Mark Radford days, that Tasmanian teams can shoot the ball. And it's been carried on by Nicholas Martin as well, as their head of high performance. So you cannot allow deep penetration because their shooters get to the right spot and they stick it.
All right, just about to get underway here. For Tasmania, the starters are going to be Brazendale, Gray, Crawford, Kay and Webb. And for Western Australia, it's going to be Weir, Foster, Tharpe, Clark and Ford. Good crowd in here, the Western Australian supporters making some noise again to get things started, as they did with the men's game earlier on.
And the Tassie boys here supporting.
The Tassie boys will be having a lot of fun there behind the basket to our left. So it could be a loud one, ladies and gentlemen. Pre-warned. Here we go. We may have a second go at that because we've had 2 goes from each team and 1 off the referee's head. So let's try that twice. The scorers got so confused we had to reset the clock. Take 2. And WA will come away with first possession. Ball's kicked out onto the perimeter. And as Weirs missed that 3, cleaned up for Tasmania by Kay, and she'll get it across to Crawford to get Tasmania into their offense. Ball to the elbow to Brazendale. Across to Webb. She's back to Gray at the top. She goes to work down low. And had a little slip on the floor there, and that's a travel. It'll be a Western Australian possession. Tharpe will inbound. And we will bring the ball into the front court for Western Australia. Heavy denial here on Clark. Foster gets to the basket with a baseline drive and a nice reverse to open the scoring. 2-0 WA. Webb's got it, hands off to Gray. Back to Webb in the corner, she'll shoot for 3. Off the rim and out. Defensive rebound here by Weir, and she'll kick the ball ahead to Tharpe, and WA are off in transition. Ball out to the weak side, there's Foster, and money. Nice preview, Zoe Carp. Wide open 3, and exactly as described.
Yeah, you cannot allow her to get in the game from the three-point line. Whilst it might have been disappointing in the first possession where she put the ball to the floor and got on the rim, that once you're in a set defense, you can look to defend. If you allow her to get away from the three-point line, she's gonna keep nailing it.
As Charlie Kay attacks the hoop for Tasmania, it's blocked out of bounds. Tassie will get a second go with 4 on the shot clock. Ball comes into Brazendale. Running out of clock. And nope, they've run out of time. Webb didn't get that one away. It'll be a shot clock violation. WA will take over. Early sub here for Tassie. Brazendale's out. Ruby Aaron comes into the game.
Tassie just looking a little bit overwhelmed by the occasion at the moment. They've just got to take a deep breath, get into the game at the defensive end, and the offense will come as a result of that.
With this sub, they've gone a little smaller too, very early in the game. As Aaron immediately puts some full court pressure up on Weir.
You can see hard denial on Jada Clark. Macy Crawford doing everything she can to not even allow her to get a catch.
Tharpe explores inside, nice pass. Harriet Ford converts, beautiful pass from Thorpe.
So far, WA doing an outstanding job of, the amount of attention that Clark is getting. They're keeping her away from that and then executing action away from her, so help can't actually come. And that little drive and dish was an example of that. So if they can continue that through the game and their supporting cast can step up and continue to make buckets, they're in for a good show.
And Crawford's taken a rip and go to the basket there and has been fouled, and she'll shoot 2. Rolls out. Remember, that end hasn't been as friendly tonight, has it?
No, I think just since you said it, I think I'm blaming you.
Yeah, we made a comment in the first game about shooting rims, and the ball hasn't dropped since. Although Crawford did get one to roll there and get Tassie's account underway. Then denial on Clark. Pressure from Gray, also there onto Foster. Weir goes to work inside, flips one up, missed it. Foster comes up with the offensive rebound. Got a bit of an ankle tap, fell to the ground there. We have a jump ball.
I'm not sure Ruby Gray's had a possession yet where she hasn't ended up on the floor. She is just everywhere, diving on loose ball, putting her body on the line, like trying to attack everything. She is an absolute dynamo.
So where our floor wipers, they might be busy.
Yeah, they are.
Charlie Kay with the ball. Hands off to Aaron. Through to Crawford. Crawford will shoot the 3 on a step back. No good. Defensive rebound there to WA through Ford. As Clark tries to go downhill hard and gets called for a charge. First little win in that match up there to Tassie. Vlahov checks in here for Ford. Crawford to Aaron, Aaron to Kay, back to Aaron. Attempts a crossover, well defended there by Ware. He's great. Attacking the baseline, kick out pass. Nice little inside out dribble from Crawford. Back to Gray, open 3. No good off the back rim. Defensive rebound, Foster. There's a foul on Tassie to go with it.
That's good action from Tassie. You know, created the split a couple of times, got to their receiver spots. Again, you get good shots, you take the right shots, eventually they will hit.
WA will inbound here to Tharpe. Pressure on Foster as well here. Tharpe out to Weir. The 3. No good. Rebound Gray. Numbers in front of her, so exploring a little bit. Oh, defense cleared out with a spin there from Gray. Fadeaway's no good. Defensive rebound to Clark. Weir again through Vlahov. She'll attack down on the left hand, picks the ball up in the post. Turns the play, and we got a foul. Little shimmy there, drew the foul out of Tassie.
Yeah, probably a little unlucky on the foul, but you just saw then in that possession, Jada Clark made a beautiful back cut on the rim, but was wide open. But WA couldn't get her the ball because of the pressure Macy Crawford has been putting on her. They're not expecting her to be open.
Yep.
So they're not thinking that that's going to be an option, and they're already trying to get into the second side of their offense.
So straight away, Tassie's already come in with something there that's disrupting WA early in the game. It's can they maintain that, and can WA find a way to counter it? Yeah,
and what they need to then do is start putting that scoreboard pressure on. So, you know, your defense will only hold up for so long.
Yep.
You need to be able to put that pressure on and start taking the scoreboard over a little bit. And you know, then things start to tighten up for WA.
Gray attacks the paint with a floater, and there you go. There's the first field goal for Tassie. 8-3 WA. Again, as previewed, there's Ruby Gray attacking the hoop. Shovel cut action inside for Foster. She'll go and scoop on her right hand. Nice finishing outside the body. Extends WA's lead to 7. Here's Aaron. Crawford. Crawford gives up to Kay. Kay to Grange, attacks the basket again.
Yeah.
The whack under the basket. The whistle's late, but rewarded that drive. It'll be 2 shots for Tasmania.
Yeah, definitely a lot of contact there. The throwdown and first step was great. And the purposefulness of it. She went there. She probably knew she wasn't going to finish, but she went there to draw the foul to get to the line. She's gone empty on her last few shots that she's taken, so this is an easy way to see the ball go through the net.
That's a really positive sign there, you're right, is the aggression at the basket. To show that intent, attack the hoop and really challenge the defense to be clean there. Like, that can go a long way in a game, particularly if you can draw some free throws and get a bit of tempo control in the game as well.
That's right, and it's, you know, she's made a little runner, but any free points you can get from there, the easy free points, and the foul count pressure that you can put on WA is going to help you in the long run, especially when you're not executing all that well offensively.
Tharpe attacks a hoop, kick out pass. No shot on offer. Foster launches a challenge 3 there by Kay. It's no good. Tassie missed the rebound. Tharpe comes up with it, shoots it high and way off the backboard. Cleaned up by Crawford. Here's Gray again, getting to the foul line. Crawford also attacking downhill, tries to flick one up, no good. Ball comes loose, and it's collected for WA by Wilson Palmer.
I'd like to see Ruby Gray pull up at the foul line for that jump shot that was wide open for her. Sometimes we get stuck as guards being an over facilitator. Right there, little runner or jump shot, I think that was hers to take.
As Foster attacks the paint, kicks back out to Vlahov, launches the 3. It's no good. Ball's knocked out of bounds and it belongs to Tasmania. So, tick under 4 minutes to go. 10-4 lead WA again. Teams look like they're feeling each other out a little bit here to try and figure out their best course of attack.
Yeah, and we've said it in every game, so if anybody's watched every game, apologies for repeating ourselves, but the nerves that come into these games, quarterfinals are difficult to play, so they just need to play through these nerves a little bit. Great step through, but play through it, find your feet a little bit, and then you'll see the scoreboard start to open up a little bit.
Ruby Aaron getting her feet in the paint with an excellent footwork there to draw the foul, and she'll go to the line. We've got all kinds in the house here. We've seen a leprechaun hat walk past there in Tasmanian colours.
The support from families and friends that have been here have been fantastic. You know, they haven't been afraid to dress up and be creative with things that make noise to support the athletes. So it's making for a really nice and really fun atmosphere to be a part of. So
for those that are watching at home, if you can't see the things making all the noise in front on your screen, you've got a couple of pool noodles, we have some drums, we have pots and pans, and then we've just generally got banging on fences.
Yeah, I think someone has a baking tray over there.
So we're getting plenty of noisemakers in the house, but it's making for a fantastic atmosphere for this quarterfinal.
I think every team manager is saying those pots and pans better make it back to the accommodation.
Yeah, I mean, if you take a drink out of a fridge, I can only imagine what happens if you take out, exactly. If you leave with some of the utensils. We're at 3:41 to go in the first here. WA lead at 10-4. It's a return to the court. It'll be Ruby Aaron to step up to the free throw line. See if she can convert for her excellent bit of footwork inside prior to the break. For those that haven't been watching all through today, there are heat timeouts in place with obviously the warm weather here in Geelong. So that one there wasn't charged to either team. That was officials timeout. And there will be one of those every quarter around the halfway mark or nearest break if the teams haven't already blown one. So if you're wondering why there might be a few extras, there's your answer. Foster brings the ball down the floor. Here's Wilson Palmer. Back to Foster. Inside to Clark, going to work in the post. She turns around, flips up over the top and makes it count.
Smart from Clark. Crawford has been all over her legally, but she has been everywhere Clark has been. So to use her size and strength as an advantage and to take her into the paint to be able to contribute to the scoreboard, very smart.
Here's Webb, giving the ball to Crawford. Back to Webb on the roll. Nice bit of defense then from Weir. Turns the ball over and Vlahov comes up with it for WA. Clark brings into the front court. Guarded tightly by Gray. Keeps the ball to the perimeter. He's surveying. Vlahov trying to get him in post position. They've left Weir alone. Nice little step through. Can't convert though. And Ruby Aaron comes up with it for Tassie. Floater pass outside though. And they've managed to maintain possession a little bit luckily out of that one.
Fair amount of contact in that. So that's one of those ones that you think, oh, this could have not been hospital. But well done to both of them to continue to contest and end up with a Tassie ball.
Crawford will inbound it. And it'll come into Cade. Looks like we have a shot clock issue here. It's getting a little... referee approaches the bench to reset. Coach Stewart having a discussion with the official over where the ball should be with the shot clock at 20... Gone back to 24 now. We'll have another meeting in the midcourt to try and figure out where this one should be inbounded from. Players will also take that opportunity to have a little bit of a chat about their next play.
Yeah, I think he's right. The shot clock shouldn't be at 24 because it wasn't a foul. It was just an out-of-bounds deflection. So whilst it's at 22, and you think no harm, no foul there, but you know, it can make a difference. It can be the difference between getting a shot away and not. So
in the end, they've put it to 23. Well, let's see if that 1 second makes a difference as we come down the floor here. Gray's got it on the wing. Back to Burns. She hands off to Kay to Webb. Back to Kay. Clock is ticking down. 4 seconds remaining for Tassie. Crawford's just got to throw it up there and somehow gets it to drop. And with a great sense of irony, there was 1 on the clock when it dropped. Here comes Weir.
the best part about that though is she could have laughed, she could have made a joke about it. No, she was next play on D and ready to try and come up with a steal or be disruptive defensively.
As Ford cleans up the miss from Bird. Puts the 2 in for WA to make it a 14-7 lead. We have 1:25 remaining in the first. Gray uses the on-ball, gets trapped, kick back out. Ball inside from Crawford into Webb. Beautiful bit of cutting action and good delivery there from Crawford with the assist.
Tassie's starting to find their feet offensively now. Their spacing's much better, and they're starting to find the open cutters.
Clark pressured, out to Weir. She attacks the paint, throws up a floater. No good, lots of contact again. No call, it's going to be an out of bounds to Tassie. As we have subs for both teams. Final minute of the first quarter, 5-point lead for Western Australia. Further subs. And Coach Andy Stewart's really rolling through that bench. Extended pressure here for WA from Tharpe on Burns. Here's Crawford. And throws it away. It'll be a WA ball.
It's probably a good chance to get Macy Crawford a bit of a blow here. I know Ruby Gray is out, but whilst Jada Clark is out, and that's going to be predominantly her matchup for the game, you can get her any time to be able to get a rest. As she
Crawford
does
gets a steal and gets away in transition.
I don't want a rest. I want 2 points. But anytime you can use her to get that rest and make sure that she's still able to play that level of high caliber defense at the end. Oh,
we have an injury here in front of us. Looks like it's Foster. She's grabbing her ankle. Physio and manager out taking care. There will be a sub for Western Australia. We have a slight game delay here just to make sure that Foster's okay. A nice round of applause from the crowd as they help Grace Foster off the court. Hopefully that's not too bad an injury. But
yeah, it looks a little more than a stinger by the way she's...
It does, yeah. No weight on that left foot.
Yeah, but hopefully it's a case of maybe, rest up, ice up, look after it, and she could be ready for whichever game they end up playing in tomorrow. But it's a big loss for WA.
But while there is loss, sometimes there can be opportunity for someone else here as well. So it'll be interesting to see who comes in for WA and steps up and fills that void while Foster is off the court. Clearly at this point we're not sure whether she'll be able to return or not, but it didn't look promising as she was limping off there. So 27 seconds remaining in the first quarter. WA will inbound. We will bring the ball up. And Ruby Aaron putting pressure on the handle here. Clock ticking down, 10 on the shot clock for WA. Here goes Weir. Kick out pass. Three is up there from Graziano's no good. Tharpe comes up with it, misses the follow. Collected by Brazendale and out, and we've got another one down here for WA.
Copped in the side of the head,
Yeah,
it looks like.
I'm not sure if that was a head clash or an accidental shoulder or elbow, but he's copped a pretty good whack there, and she's up, which is good, but might be a sub here to check how she is. She'll head off the floor as well to be assessed too, but the positive got up on her own steam, but obviously with head knocks these days, you always want to play these ones safe and make sure you're properly assessed.
Absolutely, and it's not something you can mess around with. The data with coming out of, concussions and the repercussions of concussions, it's quite frightening. So you always have to err on the side of caution with a head knock.
So as we end the first quarter, WA leading 14-11. They do have a lead, but their training staff will be quite busy over the next few minutes. I would suggest checking out both Foster and also making sure that Weir's okay with that head knock as well. Quarter time stats, Zoe, what have we got jumping out at us so far?
Well, Foster started the game strong, and she's leading scorers for WA with 7 points, and hopefully we'll be able to see her back on the floor in the second quarter, if not in the second half, after a bit more having an opportunity to warm up again. For Tasmania, a bit of a spread for them, but obviously it's not overly high scoring, so defense has definitely been a key for both teams, but not really a lot separating the two. I think, and obviously there's not a lot separating them on the scoreline, so it's going to be a case of if Foster is out, how do they adjust without such a big presence for them and such a big scoring threat for them on the floor? And then conversely, from a Tasmanian point of view, how do they exploit that? How are they going to be able to then, find a way to get more stops, which will generate more scores?
The challenge now also for WA is, can they get Jada Clark in the game after Macy Crawford's done an outstanding job on her in the first quarter?
Yeah, and I think there probably needs to be a little more going at her, using her size advantage in the paint.
Yep.
Now, sometimes when you go into that and you start putting a guard or a wing into the paint, there can be a tendency to stand and watch when she gets the catch, because you're not used to her being in there. So if they do go to that and they look to try and exploit that physical advantage that Clark has over Crawford, then they need to make sure that there's still that movement, player movement, and keeping the split line and any help active, because help will come.
As they get her underway, straight off a high pick and roll, she hits that jump shot from the elbow. Good atmosphere building in here. A chant probably stolen from college basketball by the crowd, but building a good environment for us for our quarterfinal here tonight as Tasmania turn the ball over. Tharpe will take the inbound pass for WA. Here's Clark now, ball back in her hands a little bit earlier in the offense now to challenge Crawford. High pick and roll again from Tharpe. Clark explores. Gets held up though by Ruby Gray. Once again, she's on the floor. Three ball goes up.
Great box out.
Yeah, it was an excellent box out. Tharpe's come up with it. Contact inside. I think that's going to be a foul on Alatua. There'll be two shots here for Western Australia.
That's one of those ones where Crawford has every right to get into that huddle and say, I did my job. Where are you? They've got to make sure that they come up with that after such an amazing box out.
Tharpe goes to the line and converts her first free throw. And she's been pretty good working on the boards there as well, getting all those second chances for WA.
Yeah, and just keeping it alive, you know. It's not so much if she comes up with it, it just keeps it alive and knocks it on to other players.
Clark also gets an offensive board, turns around and shoots it straight away. It's nothing but net. 19-11 WA.
There's so many weapons with Clark, you know. You carry a hand, she puts it to the floor, you know. It's
Ruby Gray attacks the basket, just gets mugged and the ball gets knocked out of bounds, and it'll be a Tasmania ball. Defense collapsed very, very heavily on Gray there.
Yeah, I think Gray needs to do a bit better job of scanning that defense and seeing that they are sinking off and playing her for penetration, because she is very good at it and she's such a strong finisher under contact when she does get to the rim. So notice that they are sinking off of her, and like we mentioned before, add some little floaters and some little runners, which she can hit. She certainly can shoot the ball, so see a bit more of that from her.
Charlotte Kay throws that inside the web. Shots contested, missed. Vlahoff comes up with it, and here's WA away in transition with Clark. Got lane runners on both sides. Gray pulls it up. Step back jump shots, no good. Offensive rebound again though to Tharpe. Vlahoff will slow things down. Wilson Palmer's stepped in here to fill the point guard void of Weir. Ball goes inside to Tharpe, back out to Wilson Palmer. She shoots for three and nails it. 22-11. I believe there's a timeout coming from Tassie. And once again, it's an early second quarter run that opens up the scoreboard and puts that immediate pressure on Tasmania.
Yeah, and the Tasmanian coaching staff just trying to put the fire out a little bit. WA starting to find their feet and free up. The difference between the way they're scoring now and the way they were scoring in the first quarter is it seems to be easy. Whereas in the first quarter, you know, Tassie did a great job of, even when the shots were going down, making it difficult. So really good timeout, definitely needed to take it, and hopefully they can come back out of this after a bit of a breather and regather themselves.
WA seems like they've got Clark going earlier in the offense now, more in the point role.
Yes, and you know, the good part about it is she came off and she hit a few, but now she's facilitating as well. So other players are starting to step up and knock down their shots now, you know, where their time has come and they're able to get those shots, which then it is so important to be able to do that and play that role, because now they can't sink off you, which then opens up Clark again. So, you know, it's twofold in terms of the advantages you get out of that.
The further support again with Tharpe hitting the offensive boards and keeping that alive just reinforces that work, giving him even 2 and 3 goes at it.
Yeah, 100%.
Here's Gray starting us off again for Tasmania. Horn set. Ball goes inside to Crawford, who's checked back in, and she's fouled. With side out of bounds ball for Tasmania.
Bit of a cheap one from Clark there. Oh, a cheap foul, not a cheap shot, a cheap foul. And will result in a second foul as well. So it's WA need her to stay clean here, not pick up her third any time before half-time.
That's something that maybe Tassie could try and target a little bit here and try and put some pressure on her to pick that one up.
Absolutely.
As another one's thrown up there by Crawford. She hit one of the quarter-time buzzer right-handed, one left now just to balance them out.
She has to practice it.
Tassie comes back within 9. Here's Clark downhill again. Great job, Crawford. Ball's turned over and Ruby Aaron will come away with it. She finds Gray on the wing. Attacks left hand, floater. Rattles around, doesn't go. Defensive rebound for Wilson Palmer, and she'll settle things down for WA.
And Macy Crawford just trying to regather herself. She copped one it looks like in the mouth, and
Wilson Palmer for 3. Defense goes under the screen. She makes them pay for that. A little bit more disruption up the floor here for WA. Aaron goes through Crawford. Back to Ruby Gray. Goes inside to Webb. Nice rip and go, and she's fouled on the way to the basket. And she will head to the free throw line.
That's a great read. You need to go to the ball, keep it forward, pivot, and get on the rim. It's really important to be able, we saw it in the last game as well with the Petrie footwork, you know, that it's not easy footwork, but if you can get it down and you can master it, you start to become very difficult to guard.
And it's been really nice to see some of the forwards actually exploiting that, like making the decision to recognise that two defenders have chased the cutter,
Yes.
but then getting that pivot right to get on the ring quickly.
Definitely.
The first one there is converted by Webb. Webb hits both and cashes in on her good work. The sub will come in for Tasmania. Ruby Aaron will come out and Brazendale returns. As Tassie go a little bit bigger again. Kay pressuring Wilson Palmer. Good use of screen in the middle of the floor to distract the defender. Here comes Wilson Palmer downhill. Pass deflected by Gray. And we got a jump ball tie up again. This one's going to be Tassie possession.
Tassie really need to get a good look here. You know, the moment, you can feel the momentum starting to shift in their favour. If they go empty on this possession or they don't get a good look, that's going to start and shift that momentum back towards WA.
Absolutely, and little deflections like that are going to help. Here's Crawford. Staggered screening action away from the ball. Doesn't free anything up. Crawford has a pocket picked and then tries to pick it straight back. The ball goes out of bounds off a foot and Tassie will maintain possession. Front court, 14 seconds on the shot clock. Double turnover assessed by the stats people by the look at that one. Bad luck to all involved.
Yeah, the stats caller had their work cut out for them in that possession.
Here's Webb to Crawford. Attacking again, left hand, a bit of body contact, lefty finish again. Crawford with the and one. She's really starting to impact this game now on the offensive end as well as the defensive end.
Beautiful finish, and you know, had it stripped from her on the possession before, so learned from that, went lower and was able to get on the rim efficiently.
And WA brings Tharpe back in. 25-17 WA, 6.5 to play in the second. But it is a little bit of momentum, Tassie. Free throw's no good. Webb comes up with an O-board off the free throw. Cardinal sin, but throws it away, and WA will come away with Wilson Palmer. Three from the corner there is taken by Bird. It's no good. The ball will head out and Tassie will collect. Crawford will bring the ball down again. Nice screen set from Brazendale to free her up. Drops back into the on-ball. Through to Gray. Now to Webb. Crawford drives baseline. Very well defended there from West Australia. Gray with the extra pass. Webb will throw up the three. It's off to the left.
That's a good look.
Great look. Unfortunately, didn't go down, but it's cleaned up by Harriet Ford there for WA. Tharpe will attack the basket. Strong finish, Tharpe. Well converted. Used that shoulder to create a bit of space and then just knocked in a simple finish.
Yeah, and to not collapse at the hips on that contact as well and be able to actually use it to generate some power for herself.
Here's Gray. She'll get an on-ball from Brazendale. Checks the screen into the lane with a floater. And it's fouled. We probably need to start a count here for how many times she's hit the floor. Because she's down again, but getting up very quickly and will shoot two.
That will be the highest stat in the game, including points. She just puts her body on the line on every possession and she's such a competitor. And it's, you know, she must be so sore after doing this for a whole week. But it doesn't stop her. She wants to continue to compete and she wants the ball and, you know, she wants to win.
And they're those kind of players in Australian sport that we really respect and love.
Absolutely.
And the second one rolls around, and there's the shooter's roll coming back finally.
There you go.
As WA will sub on that make. Wilson Palmer will come out, Clark returns. Weir's back in the game, so she must be okay. Pressure up the floor here from Kate. Once again, Crawford denying the ball to Clark. Weir goes inside, drops it off the forward. She throws one up there, no good. And Kay's put a foot on the line. She's come up with that rebound, and it'll be a WA possession in the front court. 8 remaining on the shot clock. Clark was free there. They missed that one inside. Forwards try to make a move, but they've taken a foul here. I believe it will be on Brazendale. Yes, it is, and it'll be a WA possession under the basket.
I know I keep speaking about it, but Macy Crawford is not even worried about split line help or anything like that. Her job is solely Jada Clark, and she's doing a great job of making sure that, you know, it doesn't look like Clark is ever open.
And it's almost got to the point of an old-fashioned footy tag, hasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes that can be really difficult because you spend your whole life training that, you know, 2 passes away, you're on the split line, and then somebody says, oh, by the way, for this game, you're not doing that. So it takes a lot of effort and a lot of mental strength to actually get that done. The
credit to the other Tassie teammates there too for recognising that she might not be in help, so they may need to be a little bit more active getting towards those positions, one down on that roll.
Exactly.
WA is trying to exploit that as they get a 5-second violation again from fantastic defence from Tassie. They can start to find some scoreboard impact here. Tassie could become a real issue for WA because their D is really disruptive at the moment.
Yeah, and it's holding them up. It's what's keeping them in the game. You know, 18 points midway through the second, you'd probably say is under par. You'd want to be on more than that, as obviously Ruby Gray says, fine then, I'll score. As
Gray follows the back cut from number 13 there, Charlie Kay, and converts off the backboard. Here's Weir in the lane, drops it off on the inside. Nice easy conversion there for Western Australia, converted by Bird. Aaron with the ball now, over to Crawford. Back to Aaron. Webble set up. Crawford again off the on ball. Nothing going. Aaron into the lane, and the defense has just parted there. Ruby Aaron finishes a nice simple one inside, uncontested.
Well, and Webb did a great job of holding her position there and basically screening without screening. So opened up that gap for her to be able to get on the rim.
There's a bit of the red cape to the ball will get out of the way and let you go down the middle there. But WA very quick to answer. And they maintain a 9-point lead, 31-22. Tick over 3.5 remaining in the second. Gray pulls up quickly for the 3. That's off left and will bounce out of bounds. And West Australia will come up with the ball.
I think Gray's got to get back to coming off on balls or coming off pin downs and looking to turn the corner and attack for those little runners. She's got herself to the line or scored on almost all of them. So instead of settling, let's look to try and attack that sort of that under 12 foul line area and play out of that.
Wilson Palmer back in, launches up the 3. Offensive rebound, Clark. The stick back's good. 33-22 WA. Tharpe harassing Gray. She comes down the floor. Attacks baseline, creates a split, but there you go. Picked off again by Tharpe on the rotation. She comes down quickly. Crawford walls up. Ball kicked back out. WA's going to have to start again. Here's Vlahov though, she recognised the mistake, attacks the rim, Tharpe again on the O-board. Once again staying active and converting. That's going to be another timeout, Tasmania.
Just those 1%ers, you know, getting in the lanes, getting the steals, getting deflections, ending possessions at the other end, and then keeping them alive at the offensive end. It's, you know, it's a coach's dream to have players that just do that naturally.
And they're hard to find.
They are.
Very hard to find, but when you get one particularly that's playing in a manner like Tharpe's here for WA, super effective and very helpful for your team.
Well, especially with such a big part of their offense out of the game, with Foster looking like it doesn't look like from here that she's going to participate in the game any further. So, you know, to have Tharpe come in with that energy and that endeavour has done a great job.
She's up to, I think, 3 or 5 points of the game, but 3 offensive rebounds there so far with a tick under 3 to play in the second. I'm not sure if we've got a little bit of a lag on our stats there again or not, but yeah, there we go. She's up to 5 with 4 O boards, and very, very useful extra possessions, as you said. When some of your offense is being taken out, she's making up for that with those second efforts.
Exactly right.
Tasmania will get us back underway again. They're done with their timeouts for the half. WA have 2 remaining. 2:53 to play in the second quarter. Western Australia in the bonus. So Tassie will shoot if there's another WA foul. Here's Crawford being pressured down the floor. Aaron flips the ball over to Gray. She'll give the handoff to Kate. Here's Aaron again, back to Kate. 3 goes up over her hand, and money. Much needed bucket there for Tassie, draws it back to 10. Clark again coming to the point, getting downhill quickly. Wall of defense collapses on her. She throws out to Vlahoff, misses. Here's Tharpe again. Another good bit of footwork inside to convert the work. 7 and 5 for her now.
They have to get a body on Tharpe. She's owning the offensive glass at the moment, and if they want to try and eat into this deficit, particularly before half-time, score for score is not going to get it done. They have to end possessions. As
Crawford delivers the ball there for Kay to convert around the basket. And that's been the big thing. It's almost like they are getting a stop, but they're not completing it with a rebound.
That's right.
Vlahoff will launch a 3. It's off to the right, and the ball will bounce out of bounds and be collected by Tasmania. Crawford with handling duties. Clark pressuring her up the floor. Freed up with a screen. She gets downhill into the lane again. Another lefty finish. We've seen this narrative a few times now, and it's doing some serious damage. And straight back on the defensive end to pressure Clark too. Here's Wilson Palmer off the Tharpe. Balls with Graziano. She throws back out to Tharpe with a floater off the backboard, no good. Once again, hands on another offensive rebound, Tharpe. Tough finish attempt inside's no good. And we'll bounce out of bounds to Tassie. It's almost like every time I call a shot, I can almost call the offensive rebound to Tharpe. She is all over those boards.
Absolutely, and it's got to be a focus for Tasmania. And you can see they are trying, but Tharpe's aggression on those boards is just really difficult to get a body on, and it's almost got to be a point of don't bother about spinning and trying to get your back on her. Just front check her and keep her out of the paint. As
Kay launches a 3, and that's good as well. Pass from Crawford, and that's going to be timeout from Coach Stewart for Western Australia. As Tassie bring this back to 5, 37-32, with 49 and change remaining in the quarter.
Yeah, again, when they lock down the glass, they're doing a great job. Their scoring has started to open up much as we thought it would, and it has in every game so far. After quarter time, things start to open up a bit, but the problem that they were having was they weren't getting the stops. Now they've strung a couple of stops together in a row. They're able to now bring this deficit back and force the timeout. The question is, now out of this timeout, obviously something's going to be drawn up from WA. Do you mix up your defense and try and be a little bit disruptive and mess with what's being drawn up in this timeout? It's risky. I like doing it.
So do I.
But you know, it is a risk because you know you could open something up that you don't want to. But it's a really good opportunity to get it done while Clark's sitting on the bench, so you're not having to worry about where she is at all times. The only thing you do have to worry about is if they do get a shot away, where is Tharpe?
Yeah. For me, when I like to come out of timeouts like this, I would like to change things, but I try to make sure it's something aggressive.
Yes.
If you sit back on it and they get a look at it, they can usually figure that out within a shot clock time. So for me, it's about getting after the ball quickly and see if you can turn one over or really disrupt an action. As Weir comes down the floor here for WA, using the screen from Ford. She's on the floor now. Shot clock down to 10. Ford being harassed. Ball's with Tharpe. Crawford again gets a hand on it, picks another pocket. Ruby Aaron back to Crawford. She's also been everywhere in this quarter. Nice dive. Oh, I think that might be a travel. Yes. Good action from Tassie. Unfortunately there that Taya Webb couldn't quite manage the catch and the footwork at the same time. WA going to bring Clark back in here for the last offensive possession of the quarter. With 18.5 remaining. 5-point lead WA. Crawford resumes her role guarding Clark. Clark gets downhill to the bucket. Help comes over. Layup missed. Block call. I'm going to say that will be because of feet in the charge circle.
Yeah, that's the only. Yes. I'm not sure if they were, but that would be the reasoning, I would say.
Tasmania might feel a little aggrieved by that, but my take was there were feet in there too. So Clark to the line, converts the first. Makes both, extends that lead to 7. Tassie have 4.4. Final possession of the half. Ruby Gray with it. Throws the ball off to Webb, who also goes for another walk. And leaves 0.2 on the clock for WA. Well, this is most likely a matter of just get the ball in bounds, and that'll be the end of the quarter. Yeah, tip in from the backcourt's going to be very difficult. And yep, they do. They just throw the ball in, hold it. And that closes out the first half of this women's quarter-final at the Under-20 Foot Locker National Championships. Thank you to Sport Australia, Sporting and Game Day for also sponsoring this event. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. We'll have a quick half-time break and then we'll see the second half of this engrossing contest, which WA lead by 7. Welcome back to the Footlocker Under-20 National Championships here in Geelong. We have a half remaining in this women's quarter-final between WA and Tasmania, and WA lead by 7. Just a quick run through the stats, Zoe. What do we got at the halftime break here?
Macy Crawford being an absolute stat stuffer. She's 11 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, but the work she's doing at the moment on defensively on anyone that she's on, but particularly on Jada Clark, has been outstanding. But then on the flip side, you then go and have a look at Jada Clark's stat line, and she's got 12 and 5. So, but you see the difference in just making it difficult for a player. You know, if you let it come easy, it can get out of control quickly. But whilst Jada has 12 points, and she's done a great job of adjusting to the pressure that Crawford's putting her under, when you make it tough, you make them finishes that they don't normally want to take or make, then you put yourself in a good position to be able to be successful and keep them to a score that's manageable. Obviously, early, Tasmania had a bit of a hard time putting points on the board, but it opened up in that second quarter, so hopefully they can continue that.
Yeah, and it obviously can change the offensive flow and structure for WA as well by expecting the ball to be able to go through one of their main players, and disrupting that puts a bit of pressure on others to step up. And look, so far they have done a pretty good job. And Tharpe in particular, since a couple of injuries occurred for the team's been outstanding on those offensive boards and chipping in with those putbacks just to kind of offset a bit of that loss.
Tharpe has 6 rebounds total, and all 6 are offensive. So, but it's also, again, it's also the work she's doing. She's getting deflections at the defensive end, which somebody else is then coming up with the steal because of it, and being disruptive and guarding guards. And she's just going everywhere. She doesn't mind what she has to do. She'll just do whatever she needs to for the group.
Coach Treloar's probably reached the Panadol half-time there for the headache she's been created for all that rebounding. All the things you don't expect to have to worry about. Take care of your job, and
yeah,
she's really hurt them in that area. So we begin the second half here with WA in first possession. Here's Tharpe, guarded by Great, bit of weird. Ball's gone inside to Clark. Turns in the post, good strong finish. Immediate post up there as an extra action.
Yeah, it's a definite advantage for Clark. The size and strength that she has over Crawford. Got a smart move by the WA coaching staff to go into her in the paint early.
He's Gray with a pull-up from around the foul line, knocks it down. She really needs to get that or her three-point shot going to complement the penetration of the rim.
Yeah, and I think she's gone away from the jumper and runner, and she started to get it a bit towards the back end of that second quarter. So hopefully she starts to play into that a little bit more, recognise that space and capitalise, so then they have to drag that defence out and she can get on the rim like she likes to.
The COE coach Dave Herbert commented last night on how much it improved that shot. I'm hoping he hasn't put a moz on her here in this game, although that shot there's a positive sign. Here's Tassie with a baseline possession. Steal by Weir on the inbound pass from Crawford. WA will come away. Weir using Vlahov's screen. Down the lane, help rotates over, but it's late. Ruby Aaron's given away a foul there, and that'll be 2 shots for Weir.
Tasmanian boys just moving behind the backboard so they can not even.
They've all turned their back on the free throws here. Weir says, doesn't bother me one little bit, that's nothing but net.
Watch or don't, I don't care. There's always one that's not in with the what they're trying to do.
2 for 2, that tactic might need a change.
Yeah.
Here's Kay. Handoff up high with Webb. And late whistle, but a good call on a foul there, and Tassie will maintain possession. Crawford inbounds to Gray. Crawford using the pick and roll, rejects the screen, downhill right hand, blocked by, no, foul. I thought Bird may have got that one cleanly, but the whistle's gone, and 2 free throws will be coming from Macy Crawford. The WA crowd's a little unhappy with that call. Crawford misses the first.
Basketball gods paid them back then if they think that's a foul.
Second's good. We're back to 8. Clark into the point again. Still closely guarded by Crawford. Gets a hand on the ball, Crawford. That's a third. Must have stepped out of bounds on that. It's the third time she's got a hand on a dribble and come up with a loose one, but she's put a foot out of bounds there, and WA will get it back. Lucky break for West Australia. Weir's dancing with it, uses a kick. Clark again heavily defended by Crawford, but manages to shake her. Forces up the 3 with 1 on the clock, and down it goes. Late clock buzzer beater counts at about 3 now.
Yeah, it's tough because, you know, there's sort of shots you don't, they're tough to guard, but when the shot clock is so low, that's when you need to climb in, force them to put the ball to the floor and eat up the rest of the time that's on the shot clock.
Gray turns it over, deflection from Bird. Here comes Clark, surveying the floor, nothing there. Weir fires the 3, and it's got a lot of air, and she's been told about it by the Tassie boys behind the basket. They're probably due for a bit of luck on one of those ones though, Western Australia. They had 2 go against them. So.
Yes, very true.
Tharpe pressuring Gray down the floor. Brazendale frees her up with a screen. Crawford attacking left again, little Euro. Flips it up, no good. Rebound for Ford for WA. Here's Wilson Palmer through Ford. Clark now on the perimeter, being guarded by Kay. Crawford wins the one-on-one with Wilson Palmer, forces it back out. 3 in the air with 5 to go from Weir. Nothing but air again. That's knocked out of bounds. That one's going to be Tassie's ball.
I'd like to see Tassie in this offensive possession go a little bit back to more of a cut-heavy offense rather than just straight penetration. WA are doing a great job of forcing them to push points or making any type of time they get feet in the paint difficult. So where they looked pretty good in that second quarter was when they shifted the ball and they still had dribble penetration, but they had cutting action off of that, and that was more of the focus rather than getting on the rim.
And that then freed up that penetration late in possession with defenders out of position.
That's right.
Kay downhill again, no good. Clark comes up with it. Blues by Brazendale there, kicks out to the corner. 3 balls in the air and it's money. That shot was made for WA by Graziano off the Clark assist. And there's a timeout for Tasmania. 14-point lead now for WA, 49-35.
And that's an example there where it's really important in transition to own those corners on the floor when you're trying to run into transition, rather than we often try and run to the basket. What that tends to do, though, is to obviously take your defense with you. And if we're trying to get heat on the rim, that makes it difficult and it causes congestion. By owning the corners there, defense had to make a decision. They decided to go with the ball handler and try and help on that, which opened out for an easy catch-and-shoot 3, corner 3, highest percentage 3-point shot in the game.
A nice and simple look that open too.
Beautiful.
It's been drawn in well. That shooter's dream getting one like that. As we come back with 6:17 remaining in the third, Tassie face a 14-point deficit. Probably going to be important for them to chip away at this over the last 6 minutes of the third quarter. be within striking distance coming into the fourth.
Yeah, we've spoken about this before. This is a real danger time right now for Tasmania. They need to make sure that they're getting good looks. I'm sure a set's been drawn up here to try and get them one of those good looks and capitalise and reward themselves on that. And then defensively, everybody has to be on the same page and they have to lock down.
Perhaps WA sensing that moment, extended their defence up the floor there. Milked a lot of time off the clock already. Balls with Aaron. Inside of Brasendale. Outside for Crawford. Goes long. And it will be out of bounds and WA ball.
It's a good look. It's just they're not taking advantage of those looks that they're getting themselves.
Wilson Palmer brings it up here for WA. Tharpe now on the wing. The zone look for Tassie. Clock ticking down to Ford, the three. Ford on the inside, nice pitted finish.
Great patience from WA. The zone came on, they weren't sure about it, what they were going to run, but they just moved the ball, stayed patient, and found a wide open layup.
Nice footwork inside from Ford to create that too. Here's Crawford launching the three over Tharpe. Down. Tough way to make a living, but they're hanging around, Tassie. Graziano out to Tharpe on the wing. Again, the zone slowed up Western Australia a little bit here. Threes in the air from Wilson Palmer off the back of the rim. Crawford managed to box out Tharpe and come up with it that time. They're out in transition here, Tassie. No, slowed down. Gray will orchestrate. Crawford uses the pick. Ball out to Kay, she'll fire from the outside. Off left to the rim, Tharpe on the glass. On the defensive boards this time. Graziano has an early look, misses left. Gray collects. Wilson Palmer probably got away with one there, but the ref said play on. Gray's maintained the ball. Crawford had another look at the step back, wasn't quite there, flips it out to Kay. Well defended by Clark, and she forces a turnover. There's a hack in transition. Stops a break. Possibly lucky for Tasmania, they did have a couple of numbers in front of the ball there, or we might have been considering an unsportsmanlike.
Yeah, lucky Macy Crawford is an excellent defender because she was back in D-trans, and otherwise that could have been dicey.
So Western Australia will inbound it. Zone again for Tassie. We got Travie. The zone's definitely slowed them up here.
Yeah, and WA trying to work the ball, really trying to look at that high-low action. And whilst it needs to be something that you look at, the ball's starting to stick in that high post rather than check it and get it, and if it's not on, get it on. They're really trying to give that low post player an opportunity to get open, which is great. The problem with that is you need to move zones to be effective against them. And when it sticks in the high post, you don't get that opportunity.
Crawford got downhill again but blew the layup. Clark, little step, misses. Defensive rebound by Webb. Here's Gray. Using the drag screen. Crawford to Kay. Off to Webb. Clock ticking down again on Tassie. Down to 6, 5. Step back for Gray. She's made that, and there's an off-ball foul call. It's going to be an unsportsmanlike. Let's see how this one goes through. The three are going to count. There's an unsportsmanlike foul off the ball, which I think has gone against Clark. That's going to generate another 2 in possession for Tassie. Not sure what happened there, but it was definitely away from the play. Looks like something happened there between Clark and Webb. coaches take the opportunity to have a quick chat to the players while the referees are sorting out administering this penalty. It looks like Webb's going to get 2. Made the first. And the second. So this trip's yielded 5 so far. Can they go for 7 or 8?
And it becomes a very expensive possession, especially if they get a score off of this. This is where Tassie can really start to make an impact.
And I think their crowd sense it as they've gone up the ante a little bit here and the noise picks up. Kay having a look inside. Crawford with the ball. Surveying options. Kick out pass now to Webb. Made it. It's 8 points in one possession. And that game's been flipped on its head. Timeout WA. We go from 13 to 5 in the space of 25 seconds.
Wow, I think that's the most points in a possession I think I've ever seen. So well done to Tasmania as well to just make their shots. You know, it's really easy to talk about execute and do this and do that. At the end of the day, when it's your time, you got to step up and stick shots, and every one of those players did that in that possession and have put them in a really good position heading into obviously this timeout. Hopefully they can withstand what's being drawn up here. Again, I'd like to see a little change up defensively and try and mess with that if they can. But then offensively, whilst the hype has gone up in the venue, they have to remain calm and continue to execute, not get caught up and overwhelmed.
It is the opportunity though, right? It's getting that balance right between keeping that energy there without going over the line on it and executing well, because that 8-point play's really turned this thing around quickly and put them in striking distance. Another 2.5 good minutes here for Tassie, and this thing could be a real ball game in the fourth quarter. Yeah,
and that's why playing in these sorts of games are really important for athlete development. You know, we don't want to have this sort of pressure and these sort of scenarios be the first time they experience it wearing the green and gold.
Pressure up the floor here from Ruby Aaron. Can Tassie get another stop here to back up that 8-point play they just converted? Vlahov with pressure. Balls now with Weir to Tharpe. She'll attack the baseline. Well defended by Kay. Kick out pass. 3 balls on its way. It's short. It was short from Summers. Tharpe got it, but the shot clock's gone off.
Tasmania got out of jail on that one. Tharpe had
perfect
position.
Yeah.
She reads it so well in the air.
Yeah, a lucky break again there for Tassie. A few things going their way now with 2:12 to play in the third. Can they capitalise this and put some significant pressure on Western Australia? WA do a good job to disrupt early action, keep the ball on the perimeter. Here's Crawford. Downhill, no foul. The ball goes out of bounds. Great job, Western Australia, to prevent that basket and turn the ball over.
And that penetration is good. It's putting pressure on the defense, but there is the other 4 players are too stagnant when that's happening. There's got to be movement. And whether that's a cut on the rim, whether that's an exchange and holding their space, either way, just some movement, just to make the defense turn their head.
As Vlahov drops that one inside to Bird, and she converts against the zone. Lead is 7, 1:33 remaining in the third. Here's Gray attacking the baseline with a kick out. Good steal, Bird, well read. WA arresting momentum here.
WA are doing a great job of...
That's Wilson Palmer left open in transition, and she makes Tassie pay. And all of a sudden that 8 points seems a long time ago. We're back to 10.
Yeah, WA are doing a great job of defending on penetration. That pass to the diagonal receiver spot. Now Tassie need to have a look at what their actions are off of that. So when they penetrate, maybe a 45 cut just on the rim, because they're waiting, ready, watching the ball to be able to pick that pass off. So if they cut on the rim, maybe they get an easy 2.
Gray had a good look down there for Tassie, but couldn't convert it. Tharpe with the ball. Wilson Palmer onto Weir. Feet in the paint, good back cut. Webb steps up to challenge that one, forces the miss. We've got to tie up under the bucket again. That'll be Tassie possession. 31 and change remaining. Sub in for Tasmania. Gray's going to get a break. Chewitt's going to come back in. WA with a bit of delayed pressure again. Kay comes down, handoff to Ruby Aaron. Here's Crawford. Aaron again, into Webb. Nice screening and cutting action there. Crawford's got a one-on-one on the perimeter. Help comes over, but she gets in the paint. Flips up the little runner and it goes down. WA with 6.5 remaining on the game clock here to close out the third quarter. Taser need to get up and challenge. Weir launches the three. Back iron and no good. We hit the three-quarter time break with WA leading 56-48. 1 to go in this quarterfinal.
Yeah, Tassie have got to start in either. At the moment, they have 0 second chance points. So if they're not going to get, on the glass and be able to convert those second chance opportunities, that's fine. The problem with it is WA have 14. Yep. So now that's pretty much where your game is right now. So they need to make sure that they're putting pressure on the defensive rebound and looking to crash the glass. And it's like what we spoke about before. There's a bit of stagnant players, especially when someone's going to the basket. There's a bit stationary and a bit of ball watching. If they can put some pressure on and come up with second and third chance opportunities, just like what WA are doing, it makes it harder for them at the other end to then punish you on the same thing, because they've had to work extra hard to be and expended a little bit more energy by the time they get down to the other end. So, trying to capitalise on a bit of that a little bit more and even up that rebound count. And I think then we're in for a pretty good show.
So coming out of this quarter time break now, from both coaches' perspective, are we just going to try and play and chip away here? Is someone going to try and make an aggressive move and change this at the start of the fourth?
Yeah, I think Tasmania probably need to see what happens for the first few minutes. If they haven't been able to break this sort of 8 to 10 point, that it's sort of been for a while now, margin, they're going to have to try something. And what I mean by that is they might have to get up and press. They might have to look and try and be disruptive. It may blow the game out and you may end up losing by 20, but it may bring it back as well. So if in the first, maybe 2 to 4 minutes of this quarter, if the margin is still the same, a change has to be made. If you're WA, you're in control here, so you just need to continue to execute. Jada Clark's come back into the game, so that sort of action, and they'll be fine.
Yeah. It does get to that point sometimes, doesn't it, where you do have to take that gamble, because we're playing knockout basketball here. There's no tomorrow if you get done.
Well, what does it matter if you lose by 6 or if you lose by 30? You've still lost, so you may as well have a crack at it.
Yep, no percentage in playoff ball. Here's Ruby Aaron exploring the foul line. Kicks out to Kay. Well defended by Weir. Offensive foul, Kay.
That's good D. She did a great job of moving her feet and taking the hit right down the line. Slight extension of the arm bar, but I think just her positioning there and the willingness to take the chest blow was fantastic. Absolutely.
Great start to the fourth from WA. Score on the first play, stop on the second. Can they convert on the third again to extend this lead out? Here's Clark. Goes to Tharpe. So zone look again for Tassie. Ball goes inside the forward. Tharpe's diving, doesn't quite get it. Weir throws it in there now. Tharpe turns around, converts.
Great pass. Great steal, great pass.
Yep. Excellent offensive execution there from WA. Another 1 or 2 of those, and that might be time for Tassie to start thinking. Here comes Kay downhill, a little bit out of control. Throws one away, and WA come up with it. Weir with patience. Gets it back from Clark. Checking inside, tacks the foul line. Right-handed scoop layup. 6-0 run here to start the quarter for WA. And this is real danger time now for Tasmania. It needs to be a change quickly, or this one's going to go.
Well, Ruby Gray is about to sub back in the next stoppage, so that'll obviously help. Hopefully she comes in with some instruction to mix up their D and be that little bit more aggressive.
Here's Crawford going in there by herself again, and no help on the boards at all. 4 stuck on the perimeter again for Tasmania. WA work the ball. Weir has it up the top. Clock ticking down. Clark with possession at 5. She'll go one-on-one, gets in the lane. Great pass to Tharpe. There's a 3-second violation called there with Tharpe. WA will lose that one. Tassie regain possession.
The explosiveness on that first step from Jada Clark was just magic.
Yeah.
Unlucky to get the 3-second call, but the just watching that sort of breakdown of a defender was just it's great to be able to watch that.
Absolutely. Key moments now for Tasmania. They need to draw this closer, and very, very quickly. Here's Kay around the perimeter. 3 goes up from Aaron. No good. Tharpe will get another rebound. WA in control here. Ruby Gray picks that one straight out of Tharpe's hands. Pops her up in the air and away we go. Cross-court pass here. Kay with a catch inside. Can't do anything with it. Retreats. Ball back out to Crawford. Crawford with room. Tharpe steps up and takes the 3 away from her. A little bit sloppy there from Ruby Aaron. Ball goes out of bounds. Probably a needed timeout here from Tassie. They've gone 3 minutes without scoring, and that lead's blown out to 14. Is now the time?
I think it is. I think it's sometimes you look at it and go, oh, but you might be able to peg it back. And the thing is, it hasn't looked like they've been able to break, other than that 8-point play, but they haven't been able to break that 8 to 10 point margin probably for this half, really. So, it is something that I think they need to try, even if it's just for a couple of minutes. Get them back into the game, maybe break that margin a little bit, and then you can sit back and get into your defense and play a little more conservative. But at the moment, I think if they keep going like this, eventually it's just going to be that may wait a little too long. And it's one of those things you don't want to walk out of a game and go, oh, if we only had 2 more minutes.
Yep.
So for mine, I'd be looking to get up the floor here and trying to disrupt, run and jump or trap or, play that sort of game, trap a first play, whatever it might be. Get a bit junky and a bit funky with it and see what you can come out of it.
They have come out of the zone here to an extended pressure up, because probably realistically they're going to have to put another 20 to 25 on the board to be able to run this down from here.
That's right.
And you're not going to be able to do that with long possessions.
Correct.
WA bring the ball down. Erin pressures the ball handler. Ball to Tharpe. Gray's right up, pressuring her. Clark catch inside, goes to work on Crawford. Turn around, no good. Crawford with a rebound. Good job from Webb, setting a pick there to free up Crawford. Webb will now get it. Pinch post, kick back out. Kay with a throwdown, well defended by Graziano. Crawford's going to try and create something here. Clock's ticking down with 3 to go. Here's Gray. Throws it up on the rim. No good. WA's defense smothering at the moment. Tassie can't get a good look. Kick out pass to Graziano. Short. Gray comes up with it. Can she go in trans here? No one's running with her, so number disadvantage. Pulled that one back out. Kay with a trail 3. Made it. Much needed for Tassie.
Probably got away with a little travel there, but again, quick early stop led into transition, and WA found it difficult to scramble into defense. That's what you want to try and create as often as possible if they're a chance of getting back into this.
They may have to ride their luck a little bit here too, as Crawford picks a pocket again of Jada Clark. Nice drop off, beautiful execution, and well converted by Webb. Here's Tassie making their move. Clark on the wing. Crawford can stay in front of her, but Clark pulls up. Flips it up and it rolls around and drops in.
Such a tough bucket.
Shooter rolls back at the arena.
Yeah, and Crawford, there's not much more she could have done there.
Kay with it for Tassie. Goes to Webb. Webb fires up the three. It's short. Gray crashes the O-boards on the ground again. Kay comes up with it. Second possession for Tassie. Kay draws a crowd. Out to Gray. Probably could have taken that one. And the idea there to throw that inside the Webb was fine, but execution a little lacking. At this stage with that lead, though, that three probably would have been worth a look.
Yeah, I would have preferred her to take the three on that, step up and you know, really break this game open a little bit, but can also see why the decision was made as well.
Yeah.
So if had that have come off, that was an easy two.
WA controlling tempo now. Graziano out to Weir, launches the three, left rim, out. Crawford comes up with it. Once again, filling that stat sheet in multiple categories. Ball inside to Webb, defended by Clark. Clark does a good job there. Webb flips one up, no good. It's rebounded by Bird for WA.
This is good from Webb, just trying to create something, you know, it's you can't allow them to take this time off the clock and play slow. They need to generate more possessions.
Defensive breakdown, the pick and roll there. And Clark finds Graziano and she makes him pay for three. That's her second from that corner pocket. Can Gray create something out? Dribbled off her foot and out of bounds. Unfortunate turnover. Probably not great timing for Tassie.
No, they definitely needed something out of that possession, but hopefully they can be disruptive on this and get it back quickly.
We will bring the ball down from Western Australia and get them organised into their offence. No need to play overly quick here for WA. They can just execute away on their offensive end. Balls to Vlahov. She attacks downhill. Lefty finish blocked beautifully by Webb. Crawford out in transition. Can't go with it. Double team comes. Ball back out to Gray. Well done by WA to kill that transition. Screen comes up from Webb for Gray. Finds Crawford. Launches the three. It's off to the left. And out of bounds. Western Australia will own possession. 2:47 remaining. 14-point lead WA.
I know I sound like a broken record, but Tassie have to get up here. They've got to be disruptive. If they want a chance, time is not their friend right now, and they need to generate more possessions. Allowing WA to walk the ball up the floor is playing into their hands.
WA are working out the bucket again. Here's Weir.
Tough
Great step and finish. Lead at 16 now, 2.5 remaining. This is getting tough for Tassie. WA with 1 foot in the semis. Gray to Ruby Aaron. Kay to Crawford. Crawford into the paint. Tries to use Webb, gets it back. And scoops and converts. Much needed bucket for Tasmania. 2 and change to play. It's a 14-point deficit. And WA, a great deflection by Webb. She creates a turnover downhill. More of that required from Tassie. But here's WA again, just easing possession, slowing the clock down. Gray gets up and has a swipe at one. Gets a little bit elbow instead of ball. Comes out clutching her hand from it as well.
Yeah.
Western Australia makes some subs here. Ford comes back in. Clark back in. Tharpe and Vlahov get a break. 1:46 to go. WA by 12. And it's going to take a very impressive performance from Tassie to draw this one back in this time frame. Communication breakdown. Weir gets straight down the lane, uncontested, to pour a few more on. Kay pressured up the floor, more precious seconds ticking off the clock here. Aaron in the corner, dribbles the ball out. Long clocks are not Tassie's friend here. They have 3 remaining on the shot clock. Crawford with the step back, fires it up. Great hit from Crawford again. She's done that multiple times tonight. We have a sub coming into the game. Final 2 minutes, drawing that one out. Multiple subs here. And Tassie perhaps giving this one up now that they've pulled Gray, Crawford, Webb, Kay and Aaron out.
Yeah, thinking a bit more towards tomorrow and you know, looking at that, trying to finish as high as they can in that 5 to 8 bracket.
So WA now can control this one out for the final minute 10. 4 possession lead. Wilson Palmer gets the ball over there to Summers. She has her pass deflected, but Clark cleans it up. Clark at the bucket. Ball took a good piece of her arm on the way through to ensure that one didn't get up above the rim.
Yeah, she's just so tough. You know, you step off her, she shoots it, you climb in and she takes you off the bounce, you foul her and she still gets the ball up somehow. Just all class.
Converts the free throw as well. Very difficult when you've got 3 to 4 levels of scoring to guard, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Converts 2. Sub happens. Clark will come out, Bird will come back in, and the final 56 seconds appear to be academic. Bird gets a tip. Referee will go ahead and mark the line for the final 2 minutes, although uncontested on the inbound pass. Here's Stewart. Pressured by Graziano. Second side seam from Tassie. Ball gets a touch here. 3 launched by Brown. No good offensive rebound, Tassie. That pass attempt inside. Oh, that's drawn a foul with... Referees are going to have a chat here. Shot clock or foul. They're going to go with a hold with 1 second on the clock and Tassie will get a reset. So new 14 for Tassie. 30 and change remaining on the game clock. 13-point lead.
Watch the back screen.
Brasendale just trying to walk her way into the centre of the charge circle there and move a few defenders around.
If you just inbound the ball, the game will start. And
the referee having a debate about how legal some of that stuff is. With 30 to go, probably not overly important. His ball throws one up, it's no good. WA will come away with it. And they can run the clock out if they wish here. Shot clock is off. Wilson Palmer attacks the rim though, misses. Bird comes up with it. Summers will throw back to Bird. Bird for 3. Knocks it down. Icing on the cake, cherry on top. WA will be into the semi-finals. Tassie will dribble that one out. The game ends. Western Australia 76, Tasmania 60. Excellent quarterfinal here in the Women's Under-20 Footlocker National Championships. Once again, thank you to Sport Australia Sporting and Game Day for their sponsorship of the event. A little bit of work to do for WA's physios overnight to see how Foster comes up, but they will step into a semi-final tomorrow.
And if their players step up the way they did tonight, they'll have no issue. They faced probably more adversity than Tasmania did, and they came through with flying colours. So they're gonna take a lot of confidence from this, stepping into the semi, and it should be something that the other teams look at and are a little bit worried about.
Great contribution from Tharpe on the boards too. A lot of good shooting. And we'll give a special shout out to Macy Crawford for her work in that game on both ends as well.
Outstanding.
Lion-hearted performance, but unfortunately ended on the wrong side of the ledger.
Yeah, and just, did not give up for the entire game. Finished the game with 22, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals. So, that is tough. Only came out of the game for 2 minutes. So to play that kind of high tempo, high level for that amount of time is very impressive.
Well, congratulations to Western Australia. From myself, Tim Sanderson and Zoe Carr, we'll sign off now. Thank you for joining us for the Under-20 Foot Locker National Championships, and hopefully you'll join us again tomorrow.